Hello and welcome. We're outside the Oracle Arena right now. It's the NBA Finals. Game 6 just wrapped up. I'm with my co-hosts Brad Smith, Luke Jackson, and Dylan Golden. Dylan, can we get your thoughts on Game 6 in the NBA?
Maddox, at some point, as a team as good as the Raptors and a team with the poor injury luck of the Warriors, it was just going to combust at some point. The Warriors tried to hold on as best they could, but the Raptors are just too good. They're too resilient. They never gave in really to any pressure in this series besides a couple moments in games 2 and 5. Other than that, they never looked back. Really impressive performance by them. And once the Warriors lost Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, they just floundered. They had no answers left.
And Brad, can we get your thoughts on this?
Well, Klay had a big game. Steph was good down the stretch, but just Kawhi Leonard, Pascal Siakam, they just outplayed them. And Toronto had more bench depth. They just played as a better team overall, and I think that's why Toronto won.
And Luke?
You guys both said it. Toronto just has much more bench depth. They had more guys. The Warriors, Klay Thompson went down with an ACL injury. He still had those 2 free throws though. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in Game 5, which is just terrible luck for the Warriors and terrible for Kevin Durant. That's going to impact his future. But Toronto, they had Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Danny Green. All those guys stepped up in the big moments. Toronto had 4 people score over 20 points this game, and the Warriors had nobody to answer. They had no playmakers on the floor besides Steph Curry the entire game.
Now I have another question. Would you consider Steph Curry clutch in the playoffs or no? Would you consider him an unclutch player when it comes to playoff time?
Clutchness isn't something that I wouldn't say matters, but something that's extremely overrated in our current culture. I feel that, 3 points at the end of the game means the same as 3 points at the start of the game. You just happen to miss those shots at the end of the game. You shouldn't look at a player and say, oh, he's clutch, so we're going to chuck up a 30-footer with him. But they did get off a good shot with him at the end of the game, and he just missed it. That's that.
I understand. Dylan?
I think he really gets a bad rap. He missed a couple shots in the series. That was a look. For that situation, Steph Curry, he's getting the ball, especially with that team on the floor. And he actually got a pretty decent look considering the looks he was going to get. But, it was difficult look. He had 2 guys coming in on him, fired kind of off his, kind of in an awkward position. It was still a shot that he could make, and he didn't make it. I think Luke makes a really good point. At the end of the day, a 3-pointer with 12 minutes left in the first quarter is still the same thing as a 3-pointer. That's just kind of how you look at it. Steph's made plenty of big shots in his career. 2015 in the finals, he made plenty of big shots. 2017 in the playoffs, he made plenty of big shots to put away teams throughout that playoff run. Steph's kind of gave way to KD over these past 3 or 4 years, but people really, really give him a bad rap sometimes for, he had that rough moment in Houston where he missed the wide open layup. I think that got really overblown. Steph's a really clutch player. He's come up in big moments many times before. It just happened to be under the lens of the finals that he missed that shot.
Now, you did bring up KD's Achilles injury, and Brett, I have a question for you. If the Warriors are completely healthy, do you think they win this series?
I do. I think, whenever you look at the other teams in the playoffs, whenever they played the Clippers, whatever, Durant was healthy when they played the Rockets, their offense was just unstoppable because, Durant can just shoot over you. Steph's maybe the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. You have Klay. If injuries weren't a thing in the NBA, Golden State would win year in, year out. But since it is, I just think, Toronto won this game. Toronto won the series, which is great for them, but I just think Golden State would have won this series if they were healthy.
You two guys agree with that?
No, I agree 100%. Here's what the Warriors did when they signed Kevin Durant. When they signed Kevin Durant, obviously it worked out. They won 2 championships with him, but they gave up all their depth. So either for them was either they're going to win with their starting lineup, with KD, with Steph, or if something happens, it's just not going to happen. So they sacrificed their depth for KD, and it worked. But at the moment when KD had to bow out, it ultimately cost the Warriors. You had guys like Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKinney. No disrespect to them, they're solid, they're okay NBA players. But they had to go out there in the NBA Finals in an elimination game, and that's what the Warriors, the choice they had to make. They sacrificed their depth. But ultimately, if Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson are playing, first of all, I think even Klay Thompson isn't hurt in Game 6. The Warriors win that game. They were really looking good there. Game 7, I have no idea. That's a toss-up at that point. But if both were playing, I really do think they win because you saw how good they were in the first opening minutes of Game 5. But ultimately, Toronto won the series. So,
Luke, can I get really quick thoughts on?
Yeah, the thing the Warriors struggled with this entire series and the entire playoffs was playmaking off the bench. Quinn Cook, Sean Livingston, all those guys, they've been expected to make plays and they're just not at the level of a playmaker that should be making plays in the playoffs. There's a lot of plays there. But yeah, without Kevin Durant, without Klay Thompson, and relying on Boogie Cousins and Draymond Green to make plays off the dribble against a team with as stifling defense as the Toronto Raptors is not really a recipe for success in the 7-game NBA Finals.
Okay, and that we're gonna wrap it up from there with my co-hosts Brad Smith, Luke Jackson, and Dylan Goldman. Go Raptors.